Good day. It's Wednesday, April the 28th. I'm Martin Gagel with Radius Research. Today, we're joined by Sebastien Mailhot, CEO of D-Box Technologies. That's DBO on the Venture Exchange. DBO provides motion technology or haptic technology to enhance immersive experiences in theaters, home entertainment, video games, commercial simulations markets. Sebastien, thank you for joining us today. Let's hear the pitch.
Hi, Martin. Thank you for inviting me, and I'm looking forward to talk about D-Box and mostly to answer as many as I can the question from the shareholders. So I'll take probably 10, 15 minutes to of course, talk about D-Box, and I'll start just by presenting myself, Sebastien Mailhot. So nice to meet every one of you virtually. So I've been around for 6 years with D-Box. I would say a year and a half as a CEO role at D-Box. Previously, I was mostly a CEO position. And in my background, I do have, I would say, a corporate finance and finance background. And I work most of my life in technology company, from search engine to e-payment company, and even work on the venture capital side. So, and I joined the D-Box 6 years ago. So I like high-paced industry and high-paced company. So to start about D-Box, so first I'll just make a semantic. Martin, you were talking about haptic and motion. So I'll just simplify that so it will help for the presentation. So what is called haptic used to be called motion in the past. That's a terminology that has been put because it's a growing market. And when we're talking about haptic is any type of technology that involve the body for bringing new experiences. So that's as simple as that. So haptic is involving the body in any type of experiences. So the first thing which is important about D-Box, and of course, for people that know D-Box for a long time, there's been some continuity on the story, but there's been some slight change as well. So one of the things that's been happening in the market in the recent year is there's been a craving on more experiences. So we keep thinking about new experiences, let's say in simulation. So people are trying to get trained and have the new experiences because they want to feel the real thing before getting practical. Definitely, everything is immersive now in terms of entertainment. So people, we started to have a television. We were black and white. After that, it went to color TV. After that, music was integrated. So now definitely people are looking for a new way to entertain movie. So this is just two examples, but now you see experience economy, all the millennials, all people want to feel the real thing. So that's what haptic is, a growing industry, and that's what D-Box is all about. We bring haptic technology, so involving the body at a really high level through various business segments. First thing about D-Box is, of course, now when you talk about an industry as haptics, there's a lot of stuff. So haptic goes through, let's say when you go into Disney and you go to the Twilight Terror and you just want to have your art, they create G-force to create rush adrenaline. This is a type of haptic, but it doesn't need to be precise. The experience and the expertise and the competitive edge of D-Box is that we have developed throughout the years a technology which is really able to provide thousands and thousands of experiences. It could be as strong as creating G-force for racing or playing. It could be as subtle as getting, let's say, a music concert and feeling the drum or the violin. You can be as precise as well of gunshot or all those one. So this is why this is the strength of D-Box, and this is what we've been able to create. So really a high range of haptic texture that goes from motion, so side to side, up and down, but as well texture of vibrations such as gunshot and things like that. Secondly, what is important and that people don't know is people think that haptic is a gimmick and that the high haptic that D-Box is doing is a gimmick. So on the right side of the screen, what is important to get is we made our search and scientific to make sure why people were liking D-Box, why we had an impact on simulation and training. And we did prove working with third party that the high fidelity haptic of D-Box is bringing scientific validation, meaning you can say that you like it, but your body reacts. So we have measured that with sensor, dilatation of pupil, of the eyes, etc., the sedation, And we were able to provide that. Because of that, the Haptic that we're providing bring the brain into a more concentration mode. So that's why it gets more immersed. So that's why there's more recognition of brand. That's why people memorize more their experiences. And even in virtual reality, we do bring the immersivity to create reality, but we're able as well to reduce motion sickness. So this is what needs to be reminded about D-Box. It's not just motion, it's Haptic that do tricks the brain and have a neurological impact on everything we provide. Simply said, and sometimes people are asking, Sebastien, why is D-Box have a competitive edge, or what's the value? And this is a summary of why, because there have been people, D-Box has been around for 20 years. We went into China that people, they took a product, they put it apart and they try to copy it. But to copy what D-Box is doing, you need multiple pillars, and that's the foundation of D-Box. So on the left side, you see the technology side. So definitely the technology starts. So let's say we want to code movies or gaming. How do you create those experiences? So all the way to ingest or to code content. As well, after that, you need to have all the algorithms that how those frequencies or vibes are transferred to the hardware. And definitely you have to have the hardware that are able to make the reaction to your body. So D-Box is an end-to-end solution, which if you want to copy that, you need to copy all the parts. We have multiple patents. We invest heavily in R&D, and we have, of course, trade secret. So there's the technology part. Second part as well, which is, of course, content, is definitely people, if you don't have the proper content or if you're unable to connect with proper content, of course, the consumer won't be interested. D-Box started from a movie company a long time ago, but now what is succeeded to do is we're able to bring Haptic to any type of content. It could be linear, meaning when we're doing movies, series, musics. It could be dynamic content. Let's say we talk about gaming, gaming engine, simulation, it's all dynamic because you're playing with a joystick or something like that. So there's movement that the consumer is playing. And as well, when you go to telemetry and all those stuff that you have in racing, this is all things we do. And of course, we're able to add those Haptic code to any type of content. So yes, D-Box used to be a movie content company. Now as we're going more and more into the gaming, we're having more than 100 games, PCs, flight simulators. And as you saw, and we'll talk later with Assassin's Creed and all those proprietary, we're going to more, I would say, casual gaming and performance gaming. And of course, all the series on Disney Plus, on Amazon Prime, etc., we're able to code all those series. The good part as well for all those series, etc., is we're able to add Haptic content even without talking to those studios. So definitely we're working with them from a marketing point of view. But as an example, when we get Mandalorian, they get the movie out on the Monday, and at the end of the day, we have our Haptic track that goes with it. So this is important. We're having a large brand of content, both in commercial and consumer, and we're moving with all those categories that you see on the slide. Partnership. So I'm mostly from my background a technology guy, so it's always important to focus on your core advantages and to partner with the rest. So the good news about D-Box is there's a strong foundation of partnership, both on the commercial side, but as well on the content side. You see a couple of those names that the people that follow D-Box are there. So these prove a validation of the credibility of the project. They're definitely content provider project, but as well marketing. So D-Box, as you know, is in multiple countries. People say it's going to be working only in some country of the world. It's not true. We're in more than 40 countries in theatrical and more than 60 countries in all our product. We sell millions of tickets in theater every year. There's millions of people in all commercial venues, arcade, etc., that are using that. So we're having a footprint, and we know both scientifically, but as well from a customer point of view that people like what we bring to the market. One thing to say that as a change in the past is D-Box will focus on its core technology, meaning we have to see D-Box in the trend we're going more to a licensing company, meaning when you buy a car, as an example, Bridgestone supply tires and there's people supplying the motor. D-Box focus on providing the Haptic system and building the Haptic experiences. So we're not, D-Box is not about building all the car and the turnkey solution. It's to provide one of the key elements of the solution, which is the Haptic. So that's why we are able to focus on different markets. In the past and pre-COVID, D-Box was mostly a commercial revenue-driven company. So I would say 90% were coming from the commercial segment. And that 90%, I would say 50% was coming from theatrical. So we did start, as you saw, from commercial entertainment. So right now, you know, museum needs to transform, arcade needs to transform, mall transforming into entertainment. So definitely we have that theatrical market that's providing a nice recurring business model, but as well with the trend that people are looking to create for experiences, Haptic has been brought to multiple segments that are reinventing itself with technology. So D-Box plays with those one with reselling through partners. Simulation training is really interesting because of course, when we're talking about training, people will know flight training, a CAE, which sells simulator at 20 million. But some of the trends that are happening is right now, in the past, when you wanted to train for aviation, you had to fly pilot to a training room, let's say in London, and it was really costly. Now with all the evolution of course, all the simulator, the gaming, etc., you're able to provide with a fraction of the price, low footprint simulator that people can train for their premises. So this is one of the things why Haptic is getting more traction into the simulation and training because one, you can provide a real life experience into a small footprint and not have to pay 20 million. You can do that with simulator at 20,000, 50,000. And on the top of that, there's the only way in some industry to have people live the real life without doing damages. Let's just take someone that will be training onto a crane. You don't want when the guy goes into a crane into the real life that it takes something too heavy and after that it creates a collision. So that's why there's hefty costs in training that we can reduce with that. The new segment that has been announced in the last year or so more aggressively, and it's not just because of the COVID, it was done pre-COVID, is as Haptic is getting more requests, as people are definitely with COVID are spending more time at home, and with the cost reduction that D-Box has made significantly here, we're really ready to bring the Haptic to the home entertainment. And this is something that was interesting pre-COVID, but you understand as people are stuck at home and with the people being more, that's a nice trend for us to participate. When we talk about home for us is we're looking the home from what we'll call three persona. So three typical customers. On the left hand, something we've been doing for 10 years, mostly in commercial, is simulation and simulation racing. So this is close to gaming, but there's people spending thousands of dollars building their own rig, meaning their own racing simulators. And of course, they start by getting the rig, getting the wheels, getting the pedals, and they provide motion. So by arriving to something more interesting, D-Box is able to provide Haptic simulator from high-end rig racing to low-end. And this is for us, we've been there for 10 years. There's a nice traction and there's a lot of people doing that. I'll go on the right side of the slide, definitely gaming. So, and for us, what we're looking is gaming seat. There's millions of gaming seats sold every year. And what we wanted to do is start from that gaming scene and provide the Haptic experiences. So what we're doing definitely is to create product that will either retrofit an actual gaming set or will be combined to a gaming seat so people could be feeling all the Haptic experience by D-Box into the gaming seat. And we'll talk later, but that's what the Cooler Master agreement that we announced in December is all about. So this is the gaming stuff that definitely there's a big traction down there that we need to participate. The second one, what I'll call the home recliner, will probably take more time to have the big thing, but I think for me, it's a big one. And I'll make a comparison. People buy now a phone because there's hundreds, thousands of apps on it. What we want to create at home with our home recliner, for me, it's the same thing as a phone with its apps, meaning that we want to have a full entertainment seat at home, being a recliner or design something more design, so people could live any type of experiences that they needed in the past to take a plane, but that could be lived out of your living room. So of course, people will start, we're talking about series, movies, and musics, but let's talk as well differently down the road. In the past, you were going to Disney to get a roller coaster. Haptic is able to bring a roller coaster at home. It won't be 100% what you'll go down there, but we're able to connect a Disney brand at home, and I can make sure with what you have that I can have you scream onto your own seat by doing a roller coaster. So talk about roller coaster going to home, talk about racing from Red Bull coming to home, talk about a music concert that you feel the music through your bones that you can get for home. So for me, what we're creating is an entertainment hub that would be able to provide all those experiences for consumer and connecting with brands. Partnerships, this is something as well that is in continuity but different. When D-Box 10 years ago launched the theatrical industry, because there was no haptic market, because there was less traction, they needed to do everything. So a lot of money was spent by D-Box pushing the what we call now Haptic into the market. So that's why they had to create the product, install the product, sell the product. So it was a costly process to do so. The good news is D-Box was successful and created the immersive experience around the world, but it was a costly experience. The way we're migrating, and if we look at our business segment, is we sell our product with partnerships. So as an example, in arcade, we sell to an integrator that integrate the Haptic and will be reselling to the arcade. So that's our trend that we're looking as well into home entertainment. D-Box is great in providing haptics. D-Box is great at providing content, but are we the best person that has the best traction on commercials? So we need to line up with partner. So this is all about the strategy, signing partnerships that will accelerate the commercialization, marketing, and content integration. To come quickly on the right part of the screen on some of the lead, Ubisoft was really important because when you're creating an ecosystem and it was about gaming, you need to have endorsement in your project. So we were already providing code, but we wanted to have a more marketing or close relation with Ubisoft. And we know that Ubisoft is a nice thing. So that was the first time in the market to create the traction to discuss with many people. So in Ubisoft, we signed an agreement, yes, to have access to multiple brands such as Assassin's Creed, but as well to co-market those products together and see how we can improve on the commercialization, working together, both for them and us. Slightly Mad Studio, another studio, mostly focusing on racing, that we are working with. So we have a lot of relations. So it's not just about Ubisoft. Cooler Master is a name that people know less, but it's a couple of $100 million company located in Asia, and they're known for some of their product and the agreement we're making, and we announced that. So we're going to be launching in 2021 calendar a gaming chair with Haptic. So it's been designed when you work with partners. Of course, when you do things right, you design the product with them. There's consumer survey, you put the market into it. So this is our first foundation of traction into the gaming. And it's going to be, as we were saying, launch in 2021 calendar. JMR was the first foundation as well on the home side. So definitely we're looking to launch product at a lower price, but we wanted to have a first try and footprint in the market, being on Amazon, being on Wayfair, etc. So right now that product is more around 3,500, 4,000 range. So definitely we want to provide product in the 2,000 range, but it was the first thing we did launch to start somewhere when there was COVID and nothing was happening in 2020. So this is some of the one that we signed recently. Audiokinetic is really important. Some know them, some doesn't know them, but for me, it's really important. And the traction it's going to be creating is Audiokinetic. When people make video games, one of the components that needs to be integrated in any type of game from Ubisoft to smaller one is the audio part, the music, the sound, etc. And Audiokinetic has a 65% market share about all the gaming studios on the planet. It's a Montreal-based company. It's been purchased by Sony, but they have tremendous reach. So we made an agreement that's going to be, for us, positive on multiple sides. First, Audiokinetic is going to integrate into their tools the capacity to any people on the planet to code debug haptic signature. So anyone on the planet, Martin, if you want to do that, you'll be able, like a bit of Photoshop, to have the tools to produce haptic content. The good news about that is if you want to be able to produce that, but to monetize that, you need to have dbox seat and you need to talk with us and the system is secure. So this is a nice part. So we're going to be having, entering a vast community of people to get more content, more game, and getting all the creative in the future to put Haptic right from the get-go. So as we're saying, with a 65% market share and people such as Ubisoft using that, we have a nice entrant with a partner to leverage more quickly our gaming strategy. Transition throughout the years. So in the past, and of course, if we look pro-COVID, 75% was mostly what we call, I would say, sale of hardware. So we're making a gross margin when we're selling our seat to theatrical or selling our system through simulation and training. And of course, we had that 25% recurring business model, mostly coming from the theatrical market, because of course, we get a return on any ticket sold throughout the planet. We get a return out of that. Our philosophy by focusing on our core Haptic, etc., is to move to a model that 75% will be coming from licensing or recurring revenue. And this will come from various segments. Definitely the recurring revenue from theatrical. Secondly, as well, in the home product, there's going to be a subscription mode. So we're going to have a recurring revenue or a subscription mode as well on content. The third aspect is, of course, right now we're selling actuators, but when you're dealing with partners that can buy 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, I don't want to invest my money into inventory and logistics. So we'll have a system that high volume customer will be able to buy directly and will control that directly from our manufacturer, and we'll get a license fee in the middle. So less cash to be used in the company, lower top line, but same bottom line with less hassle. So this is the third one. And the fourth one as well that we're beginning to have discussion is, as we're having a deep Haptic in terms of possibility, there's a lot of Haptic product right now. If you're talking about vests or you're talking about their shoes, Haptic shoes, etc., which are interesting product entry price, but they have limited Haptic capacity. What we're going to be able to do is use our IP, not the hardware part, but our software part, our connection to the content, and to enter into licensing mode, so to improve the quality of the experience of other Haptic solutions and get licensing. So that's where that model, we see that evolving over the next 5 years, and that's well partnered. Secondly, as I said, we're providing the motor to any type of cars. Yes, we won't go at the same level to all business segments, but our technology can go to a wide range of area. And we do feel that the consumer will continue in the commercial, but there's a consumer play as well, working from a licensing point of view, that will both create the footprint that we need, the brand recognition, and of course, revenue and value creation. And definitely, and I know that, so from a foundation point of view and from a commercial point of view, dbox has made some strong progress throughout the years to be strategically relevant with all those Disney and all those people around the world. So we do have a track record that helps us speed up that process. And that's why I said that the perception in the market, I've been spending my last year or so communicating idly more about where we're aiming and the changes. So that's why we feel that dbox has a nice story, and there's a big, nice value to be unlocked for shareholders and for consumers.
So Sebastien, thank you very much. That was very informative, very interesting. It's a very dynamic market you're in, and you're doing some really creative things. So thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us. Have a great day, and maybe we can talk again soon.
Thank you, Martin. And there's a follow-up with Steve or something organized for the question. We'll be more able to organize that. Thanks a lot again. Thanks everyone.
Cheers.